All right. Comms check. We are live 10 minutes into the first game here. Liberator, good to see you. And experimenting with a couple different casting techniques. So we're using Discord, which is nice because we're going to get some game audio. So, all right, sweet. Thanks, Liberator. And then this is always the fun part. All right, we're watching Mule from the team Monkey 5. Pretty high level players across the board here. You got Mule, Smoko, Zulu, Nub, and Relica on this squad. But it looks like the Russian squad doing some work early in terms of caps. We are obviously on Riga Airport here. So, you know, this is the qualifier rounds. Doing this casting primarily to help sort out some of the technical issues, but also to highlight some of the super high level play here. So in the chat, if you guys have anything you're noticing, obviously the stream quality is going to kind of go in and out a little bit. So for Steelball, like a please observer mode, por favor. So it's dependent on my computer, not Mule or Smoko's internet. But here we are. Looks like Mule's occupied the center position here on Riga Airport. We're seeing what looks to be an airborne armored build from him. Engineers tangling with some Spetsnaz. That's not going to go well. Thunderbolt gets found by a missile from a Barbarous. Going to back out with smoke. And this always... Thunderbolt rolling through a forest looking for that BTR. That's a bold strategy. Kurganets, Spetsnaz. Spetsnaz squad, you know, this is why Observer would be great, because I could hover over that and kind of determine if it's the balanced Spetsnaz squad or the AT specialist. Oh, nice strike over there with the F-18. My favorite teams, so Monkey 5 is probably my favorite, to be honest with you, but they're all my friends from Company of Heroes. The West qualifiers, I think everything is happening this weekend, so there are some qualifying matches tomorrow. Rage baiting regiment is supreme. I think with the qualifiers, they're also trying to give some teams some flexibility. It's really hard when you got a global player base. But I love this. Mule is a great guy to watch. There's a reason that I chose his point of view, because you're not going to see him blob stuff up. Oh my god, he's got an... How did he get an LRAS on the spawn? Whatever. Mule, you're a sicko, dude. I love the way that he plays, though. He's got... Each unit he uses like a scalpel. So lots to learn here. Wow, there's a bunch of supply depots go up on the back line from some artillery. Of note, you'll see it there. Mule's also using the hotkey on the English keyboard is C for kind of that topographic, like altitude determining overlay as opposed to just line of sight. All right, so he's got the SEP V2, no trophy. I know I talked to him about this in the past and why he has it set up that way. Oh, Diversanti. Oh, some rockets coming in. But fortunately, it's going to be able to back away. You see the premium both sides are putting on reconnaissance here. Oh, that one sniper squad is in trouble. He's up against Great on the Russian side. There we go. There's some cruise missiles coming in to hit those supply depots. Thanks, Hansi. I appreciate you. Sheridan looks like he's gonna go for an attack ground, try to get that Kurganets. Nice try there. God, can't even fathom having the APM for that. This is normally kind of how this map goes, right? Because the airfield is like a little danger zone, but if you can get good recce on it, you can support your teammates. Look at this. I like this like guards motorized build from Great. It's very, very strong with the SSO and the Spetsnaz supported by all of these high value Russian tanks. Very, very tough to deal with. Now, the airborne NGSW, their big benefit is their ability to attack at range, penetrate light vehicle armor. They also have Carl Gustav, so they're pretty decent at dealing with enemy armor at range here. Elras is taking some fire, so he's going to smoke and back up. I love this. Look at all the tube artillery coming in. That's from Mule's teammate, so good team coordination here. Hey, thanks for the follow, Never. More paratroopers coming in from Mule, more rockets going down. Looks like Smoko. I think that's Smoko in the light green on the left side here. Oh, a little bit of flank action. So both sides playing aggressive recon. Mule, thank you for sliding your view out to the left there so we could see a little bit. Tag system users will win. You're gonna have to explain that one to me, Hansi. All right, so Terminator's rolling up in very close. Wow, but the grenade launchers on the Terminator doing a lot of work. Mule's gonna get another SEP out here. Oh, this is a nice armored push from Great. Those pairs. You see, another thing that I've noticed, the high-level players, right? They never, like, give up on their units. You see Mule trying to get his paratroopers out of there. Here's the SEP in to challenge. Oh, nice advanced smoke. Moving in on the Kurganets. Trying to get the Paras to be able to use their Carl Gustav. Oh, tag system. Okay, Roger, appreciate it. Wow, that SEP already taking a lot of damage. Look at the ripple fire. Another Kurganets with the missiles. So many wire-guided missiles, ATGMs. But smoke and clear. Now, it looks like the US side... Now, neither team ended up with an advantage at the end of phase 1. But remember, at the competitive level, you're not really fighting for points. Phase 1, you're more fighting for a competitive map position. And in reality, that's kind of how the first two phases go. We saw that a lot in the 2v2 and 3v3 tournaments. And I'm just guessing, based on the unit composition over on the right, that Zulu's over there. He loves his Marine Striker build. And they're making decent progress on the right side of the airfield. It looks like this, if I were going to guess, this fight here and kind of the center left side of Riga Airfield is going to be the crux of the fight here. You've got airborne armor, which Mule is really good at playing the anvil up against, you know, like guard motorized. So really strong Russian infantry, really strong Russian vehicles. And at this level, you don't see players have a poor AA network. Yeah, apologize for the stream occasionally going in and out here, right? We're relying on Mule's internet to push high level detail via the server. So as we get that stuff sorted out, but the whole more Tu-22 cruise missiles coming. Wow, those are big hits. So the U.S. force on the right side, right, they're pushing forward and doing good work, but their SHORAD's not quite keeping up with the armored push. Looks like a little bit of an airstrike coming in on the left flank. I think that's an Su-35 air superiority fighter. And again, like, look at the combination of units here is really good. The one thing I don't see from the Americans right now is SHORAD. Oh, Mule's bringing in an assault breacher to help clear out some of the infantry and buildings. I think that's smart. Those Moto Strelki, right, they're not elite infantry, but they are very good at holding terrain. And you're starting to see the Russian squad is doubled up a little bit here. I gotta not use my mouse cursor because all it's going to do is make it harder to see the Discord output here. I'm trying to tag stuff. All right, so the paratrooper's picking on that Rozvedka right there, but another Terminator coming in. Yeah, and it looks like Mule is dealing with kind of like 1.5 players over here in the center. Nice use of smoke. He's trying to get that weapon squad up into some cover. A2 SEP doing some damage to the Terminator. Oh, wow. Immediately panic. That's the grenade launchers. Don't underestimate the value of those. So Terminator is not going to win out and out against the tank, but with the missiles and then the grenade launchers, and this SEP doesn't have a trophy in this particular build. Oh, that's an SSO squad beating up those pairs in the wood lines with the Matisse missile. That's the downside to the SEP without the trophy, right? Is you have no immediate defense to those Russian ATGMs. All right, we're going to see a cluster barrage on the back line here. That's a Mule loves doing that. Tube artillery coming in, trying to hit the pairs and the Thunderbolt in the wood line. I can hide them. How do I hide them? Okay, well, little arrow in the middle. There we go. Perfect. All right. Thank you. We're now full screen for real. You're the man, Liberator. Thank you. So this is, you know, this like line cluster barrage. This is something we see, we've seen from Mule in the past. The line barrages, you know, for those of us that are still learning the game, if you're not using those, especially with the rocket artillery or with smoke, really, really powerful because of the way it kind of hits a large area at the same time. Makes it much harder for your opponent to dodge. All right, we've got the A2 set back up at full health, moving forward. But there's a lot of like resupply action going on. Oh yeah, Mule's just got Kiowas on the flank there watching for Recce infiltration. I like that. I think that's clever. He can just kind of leave them there when they take contact. Then he knows something's coming in. Oh, SU-24 cluster drop on the... Oh, but the flame drop on the weapon squad. Look at this. Mule's going to try to run up with the ISV. It is taking some damage from the flame rounds. We'll see if he get... Nope, ISV burned to death. Well, that's no bueno. Looks like the weapon squad is also going to burn out there. Hey, Sandy. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're giving this a shot here. I think all these competitive tournaments are a really great way to see, you know, the game played at the highest level. So, oh my goodness, the Mule, your internet's terrible. This is like playing on an 8-bit Nintendo right now. Yeah, if I move my mouse, Liberator, it hits the stream a little bit. There we go. The quality is settled. Wow, so many missiles coming in. Mule's A2 set has to constantly relocate. These Russian vehicles, the armor is very high, so you know you're looking at multiple hits, even with some of the very high-end U.S. guns. Sheridan really can't hang. It's much better for clearing infantry. Ooh. Big cruise missile hit onto the set, knocked out. That's from the Su-57. Nice support run from Great's teammate there. As a US player, is a cast deck useful to my team? I struggle a lot with using tanks. I'm a bit better with infantry, but casts. Yeah, so the biggest problem that I think US suffers with is the hard AT, and so having good close air support options that can come in and make an impact is really valuable, but I wouldn't focus your entire deck around it. I think you just need to make sure that if you're running a spec combo that has a lot of an air tab, that you make the most of it. Oh, Terminator immobilized here. Yeah, the changes to the Marine spec have been helpful for US in terms of getting some additional like armor combined with an air tab. You're still going to run into issues. They in particular don't have great fire support, so pairing it with something with a HIMARS or Gimlers like Striker or armor is very helpful. Oh, here we go. Kurganet's moving in. Looks like Sheridan just gets smoked, and these, yep, Sherman V Key, they're Mule, as always, is on it. His airborne hopping out of the building. Now the Thunderbolt, it's immobilized, but it's still there to help. And now the Assault Breacher coming in. Thunderbolt gets knocked out. And the Russian team taking a little bit of a lead here, especially in terms of KD, right? You know, 4 points going into phase 3, not bad, but you'll take it. Assault Breacher, I wonder if he's going to cancel this Assault Breach, considering that Sherman VK squad got knocked out. Yeah, the Sheridans are good against the like BMP spam because they, you know, oh my gosh, that Assault Breacher just got annihilated. Sheridans are good against that because the gun will do good damage to the BMPs and then also be able to deal with the infantry that pop out afterwards. But man, all these US weapons teams just getting shoved back. Lots of artillery coming in, but the Russians are really well entrenched around Bravo. And I think Mule needs a little bit of a reset here. The upside is that the American team, well, now they're getting doubled over on the opposite side of the airfield there. I can't tell. Is that Echo? Yeah, on point Echo. So many guards, specs. Just the crazy, crazy front and side armor. Hey, thank you, Raptor. Yeah, airborne soft Raptor is really, really tough to make work because you have to kind of be on a flank or in a position or up against a spec that doesn't have a ton of armor. Also, you really need to make sure you have smoke in that deck because your infantry are going to chew up the enemy at close range, but you have to be able to get in tight. I'm not sure if I recorded or not. I got absolutely abused the other day trying to play that deck because I didn't use smoke properly. Yeah, the 57 autocannons are very, very quick aim time. The Russian IFVs are just a strength across the board. Even the cheap ones trade really, really well. Yeah, Web. This is because Broken Arrow doesn't have observer mode, we are 100% reliant on restreaming either via like Voodoo Ninja or in this case Discord. So the upside to this is we actually get the in-game audio. But yeah, we're entirely reliant on Mule's internet. I may I'm not sure, Liberator. He might have it. It might just be a connection issue. For the next game, we'll take a look at some of the other streams and see what we can do here. Yeah, smoke is huge. Oh, nice supply going up because they drop supplies in to try to repair that Terminator. Oof, the Russians, huge advantage in KD going into the end of phase 2 and an advantage in terrain, and that's not where you want to be as US going into phase 3. Oh my gosh. The Ripple missiles from that immobilized Terminator just annihilating the Thunderbolt. Let's see, we got a T-160 coming in, big seed run, Patriot's gonna get smoked. Look at all the cruise missiles coming in. That was a nice team cast run there from the Russian side, doing some damage on the US approach onto Charlie. You don't hear the in-game audio. Is it just because it's quiet? Let me let me try this. You guys hear the in-game audio now? Oof. That F-18 just getting annihilated. Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. Smoke for vehicles is good, but I really like the line smoke barrage as a way to break up enemy lines of sight. Oh man, 2 minutes left in the phase. Look at the huge advantage that the Russians have. Oh, well, that's I'm sorry, Spooter. That's an old thumbnail. YouTube is a little wonky in how it lets me do live streams. Let me know, Orbis, let me know if the in-game audio is too loud. I can tone it back down. You see, Mule was trying to grab Bravo here going into the last point, but you don't want to... Oh, here comes some more cruise missiles, speaking of which. Oh, another rocket finds more supply. That SEP is now immobilized. That's rough. AMPV on the way up. That T-72, that's going to be a problem. Okay. All right, I'll tone it down just a little bit here. Yeah, this feels like a classic US match where sometimes just the volume of Russian armor is really, really tough to deal with. Like even this BMOT here on Bravo, I mean, it's a T-72 chassis, so very high front and side armor makes it rough for the infantry, and good hit points too, right? So it makes it tough. You need 2 or 3 hits to line up. When you combine smoke and APS, players with good micro just make your life really, really difficult. 30 seconds. Russians about to get 10 points here for this round because Echo's been captured. Mule making an effort onto Bravo, but now, oh, that's indicative of some recce on the flank. I wonder if Mule's going to see his Kiowa got knocked out. All right, engineers and rifles hopping into the building there. Yeah, the APS on the Kurganets means oh, there it goes. It takes a couple of hits. Kurganets knocked out. Mule unable to take care of Bravo before the phase starts. Huge advantage for the Russians going in. And this is... Liberator, you are the man. This is the potential issue, right, with, you know, in competitive play. If you're behind, not necessarily in... Oh my gosh, those engineers, they immediately hop in the building and just annihilate the US infantry. Should have played as RU. This is the problem though, you don't want to be behind on terrain going into the end of phase 3, because if you have to make up points via cap, then you run the risk of like really bleeding out quite a bit to your opponent. All right, we're getting, looks like the US players are sliding in here. We got a Striker soft build coming in onto Bravo. Those Dragoons, they do okay, and they actually do all right. The Motostrelki are dangerous though, and okay, Dragoon trophies. Rangers in their standoff configuration, so they'll also have the Carl Gustav. Let's see if they try to get those Strikers out, or if they leave them in place to help recover the infantry once the cap's made. That was a nice little switch and push. I wonder how much the US team gave up on the flank there. Oh, the soft lock is rough. Yeah. Yeah, you see the resistance of that BMOT up there by Bravo. Rangers hitting it with a Carl Gustav. Yeah, and so the US team, you see them recognizing they've got a recce problem on their flank. But yeah, the BMOT, the armor is so high that even the Carl Gustav, it's only doing a couple of hit points of damage each time a round goes off. And it just smokes. Oh, the aim time. Gets knocked out. One final Gustav shot. They need to get those Rangers out of there to heal up. More smoke coming in from the US side. I do not think that mirror matches are allowed. I'm not 100% positive, but that would be... It's not my call to make. I'm just the caster, but that would be less cool. Nice pre-smoke on the Sheridans. Notice how Mule only pops smoke on the front Sheridan, right? That's some good micro. There's a tendency sometimes for players to, with all their vehicle. Oh my gosh, all these rockets coming in on supply. Russians have really good vision on the supply back there. You know, I don't want to make a call on OP underpowered. I think, you know, the balance has shifted back towards 50-50 since the patch. There are some units though that are still just very, very strong, and you know, Russian units tend to be better armored. US units tend to have better guns, more of a glass cannon build, and that can require some micro. Mobilized Barbarous plus an SSO squad. The Sheridan should do good work against SSO squad. Some attack ground there. Oh, they're about to find some coordinates in the buildings. You see, I like this. smoke and then attack ground. Now, attack ground's not hyper responsive in this game, but that is still a nice little trick when you're up against infantry squad in the building. And look at this. I think that Zulu over on the right is just taking Echo again. Oh, nice counter push from the Russians. Oh, they found some supply on the back end. I'm sure that'll get targeted here shortly. The US team has actually done a decent job of clawing back some terrain early in phase 3. Well, so I know for a fact all these teams play both US and Russian, right? They are so Monkey 5 definitely has some Russian decks and builds. So I'm sure that choosing you know, faction was part of the match and map selection process. Now these qualifying rounds are essentially a round robin. Each team's going to play 5 games today. You know, winner plays winner, loser plays loser, but it's to basically set up the elimination form of the tournament, which will happen in the coming weeks. Look at those cluster rockets coming in, doing good damage. Russians reaching for Bravo here. The KD is just so heavily in the Russians' favor right now. Yeah, Hornets are good. All the like ATGM vehicles for the Russians are good because they also include anti-infantry ATGMs, and that makes them really potent. Wow, Spetsnaz get chewed up by the engineers in the MPV. Now the Sturmoviki are going to hop back in. Both sides are panicked. I think the Russian side should be able to beat the engineers. Yeah, it looks like they're going to win that one. Another Spetsnaz squad. Yeah, that Hornet team still in that building there, and quite a threat. The one thing we really haven't seen Mule use much in the way of aircraft at all. Everything has been, you know, armor and airborne ground units, which is interesting. That Hornet team knocked out. Nice tube artillery run there. But yeah, the Russian elite infantry from the motorized battle group plus the Sturmoviki from the guard spec, they are really tough to deal with. Especially the SSO. They get in these buildings and you can see that reflected in the KD here. Oh, that Barbarous. One more shot. But the Marine Raiders are panicked. I wonder, will they get it off? Oh, the active protection saves it. 4 APS charges, and with the panic, look at how slowly that's loading. More rockets coming in, though. They might still get that Barbarous. Oh my god, they're not going to kill it. Yeah, I'd say mid elo is like 1200 to 1800. Right, you're at a point where you understand the game, but you still have a little bit of like room to improve your ceiling as far as micro goes, or maybe you're using inefficient unit combinations. Anything above 1800 is a player that knows what's up. Thunderbolt going for an attack round against the Terminator. Oh man, this Marine Raider's just getting toasted. Mule trying to figure out where this Terminator is. Oh, and just not doing any damage. The assault breacher's still loading up its shot. Yeah, I can see that, especially because elo inflates. Like the more you play, you normally just end up picking up a lot of elo in the process. Oh, the Thunderbolt. And so many... I tell you what, the Russian player in the middle here, I think this is great. And he's, for elo combination, he's like 2700, 2800. I think he's doing a really good job keeping his units alive. Because like, it doesn't matter if your unit gets away with 1 point of health left. If it gets away, you deny that destruction score to your enemy. So that is absolutely critical. And I'll never forget Smoko joined my stream one time, and asked me, hey, how are you going to play the game without units? You got to have units on the field to play. So letting all, like, doing an unga bunga push and getting all your units get destroyed, that's a good way to lose. Oh, look at this. They're just closing in. Boom. All right, good pickup on the Tu-80 Drozd. You want to use guns for that, right? Oh, here comes the clusters. No, it didn't drop. That's funny. Now, Patriot comes in, whiffs on Su-24. You know, the Drozd, that's the variant with the APS. You definitely... Ooh, cruise missile coming in. Shorad's knock out one of them, which is nice, but the Thunderbolt still goes down. 5 minutes left in phase 3. Not looking great for the US side here. Down 3 whole objective points on KD. That's rough. That's rough. Yeah, he's very, very good here in mid. Like, Mule is not a slouch, so to be putting Mule in the back foot all game. Oh, Sherman V key. But see, look, right? He's able to get them out of the building in a way, and now Mule has to send his tank forward without a lot of recce to try to pick up that Sherman V key squad. And now, oh, Shorad knocks out a cruise missile, but these SSO teams in these buildings with the Matisse missiles are just so hard to deal with. Oh, there goes the Shorad. And yeah, that BMOT, wow, the aim time for the SEP's taking forever, and it breaks line of sight. And now the SEP taking missiles from across the airfield. Oh no. That's why airfield control in this map is so important. They got a couple of the cruises with the Shorad, but yeah, especially with the desync issues, it is not consistent, even with the updates. Oh, look at this push. Just so many of these BMOTs. They take 3 main gun rounds to kill. They're just so resilient, and then the infantry pop out afterwards. Look at this. This is a great push here. Pun intended. And the Russians are gonna take back Bravo, and there's not a whole lot Mule can do. His teammates been forced to kind of slide into the middle because the Russians have controlled the left side of the map here. There's some rock eyes, but no hits, but no kills. Now, to his credit, Mule is held great to just a 1 KD, but the rest of the Russian team is doing really, really well. Yeah, Mule leaving his pairs in that building. They're not long for this world. I like the sniper team just going to town on the Spetsnaz. BMOT sees them. This is going to be interesting to see how long they last. Sniper team does get the Spetsnaz squad. That's a nice pickup. Sep going for... There we go. Knocked out the BMOT. No infantry were in it, so... Fortunate. And Mule is going to try to push back in here for Bravo at the end of the game. Yeah. I'm with you. This is these are 2 very, very high-level squads. The guys on Monkey 5 won the 2v2 tournament, if I remember correctly. Was it Mule and Nub? I think they won the 2v2 tournament. The other funny thing is these guys all play together on a regular basis. Oh my god, the Chrysanthema just smoked that A2 Sep. That's the downside to not having the trophy. You get no protection out in the open. Thunderbolt's gonna try to deal with these Motostrelki. Oh no. The RPGs. Oh, that assault breacher with the grenade launchers on it? That's nice and close. Oh, the kill difference was like this in phase 2 as well. The big difference is the Russians had a terrain advantage going into phase 3, and that normally means that you're gonna win the KD battle in phase 3 because you know the other team's just gotta constantly pound play offense trying to get in. And also it feels like the Russians have had air superiority most of this game. We've seen constantly cruise missiles coming in, airstrikes. Oh my gosh, the Thunderbolt almost dead already. And there must be some infantry on this on Bravo. There we go. Found the motor struck. AMPV gets the kill. Cap starts on Bravo. That's not going to be enough. Now the EX comes in. We're going to see 5 JASMs and kind of like a preventative strike here. The Chrysanthema across the airfield still doing a ton of work. Smoko's going to throw the GG, and I think that's fair. A minute left. There's not really a spot left. Here come the cruise missiles, and they're going to get a Terminator. Interesting that it was the first time we saw Mule pull the cruise missiles out in F-15EX. He's been fighting a very ground-based battle all game. Oh man, this SEP. Oh, look at all these cluster rockets coming in. Oh my god, SEP just gets annihilated. I feel like the top armor on the Abrams is really bad when you compare it to the top armor on some of the Russian vehicles. Oh. Yeah, this is the final score here is not going to be great. Yeah, and it can be tough when you're playing in a center position like this. 22-0. That is huge. That's crazy. Completely unexpected. Look at the ELO scores here, gents. This is the lowest ELO across the board was like 2,600. That's wild. Really, really well played by the Russian squad here. Spartan Systems. Wow. Yeah, I'm completely. Yeah, everyone on their side 2,700 plus as well. So you saw Guard Moto, Guard VDV, lots of Guard spec, Guard Coastal. Yep, that's rough. So we're gonna let me see. Nope, that's not the one that I want. Let me pause this here. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just kind of hide. Also not what I want. There we go. So that was an interesting first game for Monkey 5 for sure. And not what I expected. Wow. All right, takeaways, chat. From that one, 22-0. That's insane. That's insane. I've never seen that like that. Hey, what's up, SN? We are watching the Broken Arrow World Series tournament here, the qualifier rounds. They need to buff Abrams. Oh, sorry, I'm reading a comment here, Fernando. They need to buff the Abrams overall, and U.S. rocket squads take too long to take out Russian armor. Marines, Rangers, any of the squad doesn't carry them all. It's just little damage. It takes too long. Yeah, part of the issue is like a lot of the Russian IFEs, especially in the Guard spec, are running like a T-72 chassis, so the armor is really, really high. And so that makes life really difficult. Low risk ammunition. Yeah, at the very least, increase the supply cost. I've been going through and evaluating the supply costs of a lot of the like rockets and cruise missiles, and it's shockingly low in a lot of cases. So I agree with you there, Hansi. All right, let me. Here's what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna put this on the stream on pause for a minute. I'm gonna go in and try to find. We'll figure out what matches up next. And we'll jump into another one. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back. Just want to say to everyone, thanks for the patience. They're getting the next round of games set up. It looks like we're going to be seeing Uga Buga versus BA Spain. So more to follow. I will be back as soon as we have a game. Thanks. of course I'm muted. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Kodo. Unfortunately, so Ooga Booga is still waiting for their opponent, so we switched matches. We're going to be here up against Snafu and T versus TU22. So TU22, obviously not toxic, naming themselves after the most abused weapon in the game, but it is what it is. So they're still working through their match setup right now. Let's see. While we do this, let me see what I can pull up here. Yeah, these guys, you guys can see from the ELO level here. There are no noobs in this tournament. Like the lowest ELO guy I've seen so far is Dagon Naleyev with 2419, level 74. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of experience. Chantali, thank you. I don't normally play, I don't normally go live on YouTube except for tournaments, stuff that's covered live. So glad you found it. Kodo. Nicotine simp for Snafu. Nice. You know, I think what's always kind of fun is seeing like as the teams get set up, right? And they like you choose a deck with a spec maybe to throw off your opponent and then wait until everything has to be like readied up. Or maybe they're not. Looks like they are. Oh, we get to watch Vero play with his deck a little bit. A little bit of a deck voyeurism here. Kodo 1200 Elo. Elo is just a number, bro. It's just a number. You never know. All right. So, all right, looking at the US side, let's assume that they hold on to this combination. All right, Airborne Striker. That there's a lot, you know, that's like that reads to me like an air support deck. Very, very light in terms of infantry support. The Strikers, lots of good mobility, but not necessarily great infantry. As we've seen, you really need you know, multiple rockets to kill some of these enemy units. Oh, are we gonna watch Vero just build a new deck? This one is cool. All right. This is entertaining. This is what we got while they wait for everything to load up. Let me see if I can pull some music in here. Do this a little bit. Let's see. Sea Dragon, my beloved. There we go. There's some music. We'll run this until the game gets going. Then I'll have to turn it down a little bit, but we should have some in-game audio. Yeah, as long as they're pushing game audio in the stream. Let me see here. All right, everyone. Looks like we are in. Let me get this one sorted out. There we go. Watching the stream. And we've got it. In-game audio. Perfect. All right. Here we go. Marines plus soft. Marines plus soft can be really good, right? The Pac 2 is the weakest of the US air defense, I think. I know it's a one shot. Smash, I am going based on the availability of the games to start. I mean, are we not? We're still not getting game audio. That's unfortunate. Okay. Well, that's... Oh, this is why Steel Ball like it. This is why we need observer mode. But all right, we will put the Broken Arrow soundtrack back on. All right, you guys getting the soundtrack audio at least? Skur from Drakenlord. Probably not. I gotta go with copyright free stuff. Otherwise, all this stuff will be permanently muted, which is annoying. All right, we are seeing this. Looks like this is a Marine Striker deck from Vera, and it looks like he's playing into the mid here. We're on Meandering River this time around. Oh man, huge air attacks from the Russian team. The US team actually bringing out a couple F-22s, F-18C as well. You can already see air defense up on the back line. And first kill goes to the Russians. That F-18C is gone, and F-22 gets smoked as well. And lots of partial hits onto the Russian air there. The first Su-30, those MiG-29s, a couple of them go down, but actually huge air attacks benefit in favor of the Russians. You see those MiG-29Ks on their way out. That was a rough start for the US team here. Oh, my bad, Hansi. I will mess with it later. Yeah, and so already we're seeing a little bit of a different playstyle from Vera than we saw early on from Mule, but this map is much more wide open. The river makes for some really interesting sight lines. Lots of open fields. I would expect to see lighter builds kind of across the board. Yeah, the F-22s are really good if you can keep them in the back, but they're so expensive. I've personally shifted towards more the cheaper anti-air that can trade a little bit more efficiently and swapping over my F-22 to a multi-roll, but that's just me personally. All right, you got both teams kind of getting set up here in phase one. Oh, Striker self-propelled howitzers coming out for Vera early on. And that's the one thing that the Marine spec lacks is any sort of real artillery outside of the mortars. Yeah, Orbis, I agree with you. I've been running the F-16 quite a bit. It's hilarious. The motivator rolling in with some supply straw. That I like that setup. Marine smas and supply right at the start. That's smart. That's a really good way to get a lot out early, grab the center point. The trick here, you know, in this competitive play is not to overcommit early. to fight and too hard for terrain, right? Because the objective points in the first phase are not worth a whole lot. All right, we see a pack 2 coming out. We see some self-propelled howitzers. So it looks like Vera wants to set himself up in the middle and then try to support his teammates, which is never a bad idea. It looks like the Russian push in the gap there, actually it looks like they're going to avoid Alpha completely and kind of drive through Bravo. You're always worried when you see a big gap like this that there's so much more coming at you, especially in terms of like, you know, BMPs or BTRs. Why do you need Arty? You can disable enemy radars and drop bombs on them. Arty are great for dealing with infantry in the woods here, which looks like we're seeing, oh my gosh, those Russian that's Morska or Zvedka. Those are recon units, but the Assaultmen small, just really well designed. And now Tu-22 cruise missiles on the way in, kind of appearing from the back in the distance. Oh, smart play from Vera. There's good micro to get his units out quickly. Oh, there we go. We have found another BTR and more of the Morska or Zvedka popping in there. Man, the Dragoon, the Striker, even with the Dragoon, that 30mm Bushmaster struggles to deal with the BTRs, the armor on them. Yeah, Kodo, that's the Delta Force guys in the woods are really, really strong. Yeah, but that more cruise missiles coming in. Well, the irony, the team being named Tu-22M3, I think we're likely to see cruises coming in consistently. So the US side definitely going to need some shore adds. Push forward by the front line. The howitzers, looks like they're HE and smoke. I don't see cluster. The problem is that the Striker SPHs, they just, the damage, the burst radius on them is still not great. So as long as your enemy is microing units aggressively through the wood line, you're going to struggle. I love this from Vera. I'm going to steal this strat. Him using the MTVRs to bring out some infantry squads and supplies with them. That's really smart. I like how he's got the Assaultmen small paired up with the standard Marines. That's some good anti-vehicle, good anti-infantry. The Marines, their biggest advantage is their 13-man squads. They are really chonky. All right, now we're starting to see Terminators come in. More cruise missiles. Holy cow. They must have a million of those Tu-22s. And oh, there we go. Pack 3 blots out 1, but the other 2 still land. Now, so what I'd like to see here, I'm nitpicking a little bit. If you know you're going to push on the left side with your infantry, hit that with the artillery rather than, you know, these other spots in the wood line. Oh man, those SPG-9s are really tough to deal with. They do good damage against infantry as well. So whoever that like ultraviolet blue purple player is there. Oh, and here comes, oh, the Terminator with the grenade launchers. Look at that. Oh, immediately panic. You gotta be careful. I don't think he realizes the supply's there, but that's very, very dangerous spot to be in. Yeah, and trying to close with infantry, that's rough. The tube artillery, unlikely to do a lot to the Terminator. Now some Spruts rolling in. Americans have reduced the KD gap a little bit. It looks like the fight on the right-hand side is going fairly well. Slight cap advantage. And it looks like Vera trying to figure out exactly how he wants to play this. Oh my gosh. The Russian PDSS trying to swim through. They get spotted in the water. Oh, that's a rough day with a Bradley shooting an autocannon at you while you're trying to swim. That's when you need that rebreather. That Terminator, though, now maybe he can use the smoke to kind of scoot in. You do have smoke on the SPHs, so I'd love to see that. Got to be careful with all that supply on the back end. Fortunately, it's not a ton. Marines need to be careful. They're a little bit dangerous close to their own artillery there. It's like the Striker Dragoon. I like the rotating of units in and out of the supply here. He's going to need more supply here shortly. You see, nice. You got snipers, lasing, artillery, in the, or anti-aircraft artillery in the back. Yellow's got a decent anti-air setup here. I'd be careful taking the Marines too far away from their small support. Oh, he's got some artillery coming in. But, you know, both sides doing a good job of not letting their units get decisively engaged, right? So you're seeing this a little bit where as they start to, they're in an unfavorable engagement, they're starting to bounce away. And, oh, more cruise missiles coming in. Yep, and he's already pulling those assault men out, even though he probably needs that small to help deal. Oh, and now Chorny Beretti there. Those Marines are done, and the small probably also done as well. Maybe they can get the shot off on that carrier that was at BM3. Oh, the Terminators found them, and the Striker there not in a good position. This is with two players pushing into mid. Multiple Terminators. This is potentially rough. Oh, now the toss. Those smalls go down. And you see the anti-air setup already. Oh, but whatever that is on the flank there did a good job knocking out a couple of those BMPs. Vera losing some of his infantry in the middle, but I feel like the trades are going in favor of the US now. The KD is closer to even than it was at the start of the phase. And this is one of those things, if you can fight to the opposite side of the river and force the opponent to constantly attack you to gain favorable terrain, you can start to really clean up in the KD fight. Oh, nice artillery doing work. Now the PACFA comes in. Some C, looks like some cluster crews. It all gets intercepted, and the PACFA gets smoked by a PAC-2. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before with an Su-57. US versus Russian Marines there. The US immediately gets shocked and bounce away. The ACV, down to very low health, needs to unload those Marines and get away. Yeah. It's the ACV is just very squishy. Oh, they're the Black Berets. Oh, those Force Recon CQC that panicked. Oh man, they just get annihilated. But Vera doing a decent job handling kind of a little bit of a double here in the middle. And you see him trying to figure out what he needs. Oh, the toss barrage comes in. That's doing a lot of damage. Look at the spread on that. Striker howitzers take some damage as well. And the Black Berets go down to the M1A1. And yeah, those Force Recon Marines need to get out of there. Deltas with Maws. Oh man, but that would be a broken unit with their anti-infantry. Are you saying paired Delta with Maws? Yeah, I think that'd be a good combination. The problem is Delta is so expensive. If you get caught out by like a Terminator, you don't want to just bleed. All right, cluster cruise is coming in. Looked like they hit the Abrams, but they're gonna whiff, and so the Abrams is still alive. I like having the Abrams here to help deal with some of these heavier vehicles. This BMO, oh my gosh, immediately the Morpehi get a hit off on the HC. We need more supply up at the front. And it looks like the Russian team really pinching into the middle, focusing on Alpha here. 3 minutes left in phase 1. You know, Vera's ability to deal with this kind of double team, triple team situation is going to be critical to his team's success. Because if you can hold out like this, you can really make it easier on all of your teammates. Look at all these PACFAs coming in as well. The Russians definitely have a strategy for their air units, and it is, oh my god, these close range toss barrages. And now the Chorny Beretti here, this Abrams needs, yeah, you can tell he wants to stay to hold on for the end of phase 1, but he's getting focused down. Now we've got an assault breacher here on Alpha. Can't tell what player that is. But, oh, and then the Russians squeeze ahead on KD. Man, the Morpehi, they don't care. Do half damage to that assault breacher with the first RPG round. Grenade launchers shock them, but this is rough, and assault breacher gets cleared out as well. If those more Pehi get away, that's big. More cluster crews and seed coming in. Oh, nice shot on the Abrams. And now Vera's just very much on the back foot here. He's dealing with multiple opponents and a lot of air support. Well, there we go. Now some decent kills coming in on the orange player. But, oh, wow, look at this. End of the phase, Russian's going to grab up 3 objective points for territory. A couple of good hits on those Terminators, just not getting the kills that they need. And Vera's playing on a very narrow front here. And those Morskaya and Rasvedka, they're very chonky. Oh, more cruise missiles coming in on the Raiders. Scouts knocked out. And now the more Pehi come in, and against a panicked squad, right, they're just going to steamroll them. It looks like the US is setting up on the left flank for a big push here. There's not a lot of risk in sending it now. You're already down pretty far on KD and objectives, so might be worth trying to grab some territory here. Oh man, this Guards coastal build is so hard to deal with. Those Sturmoviki, when they get the RPGs, they handle enemy vehicles so well. Here we go. It looks like Vera making a little bit of progress. He's brought his CJ in to get some shots off. I don't know if it killed anything. Hard to see, hard to tell. You know, I will give Vera credit. Where are the choppers? So he's running a Marine Striker. So he does have access to some good Marine helicopters. One point is gray. Oh, because it's being captured right now. Kodo. It can be really risky to run lots of helicopters when the Russian team's got so many tours up. Now, the Americans captured it. So they were able to knock down the Russians to just 2 points for phase 2. So nice little flip of the score going at the end of the phase there. Man, whatever that explosive, that thermobaric explosive that Choni Beretti have, just immediately panics those American infantry units. Makes it so hard to counter them. The helicopters on A having a hard time. I haven't even seen a helicopter show up. More cruise missiles coming in. But this is... Hey, what's up, Aziliath? On the Russian side, this is exactly where you want to be in terms of terrain, right? On the far shore of Alpha, where you can pivot to help, to help your teammates or to put some pressure on the US. And you see Vera's he's bottled up here in the middle, which is not how he wants to be. He's trying a different build here. He's got CEVs and engineers coming in. The CEVs can do fairly well against some of the lighter armor, lighter Russian armor. I think playing in the middle, it can be really dangerous because you can basically get shot from multiple sides. Oh, more Pehi trying to close to the CVs. They're actually taking a ton of damage. Bless you. Those RPGs doing some work. Oh, the combat engineers. Wow, the range on that Terminator soaking those engineers with grenades at this range. It's kind of wild. All right, so the more Pehi get knocked out, combat engineers also struggling. CV is going to move to try to take care of that. Is that BM3? Yeah, the M202. I agree. The M202 flash is a really cool weapon. Although my Greenbirds have a tendency to kill each other with it. Yeah, ZMA. I feel like because we've seen tours on either sides. Hybrid. I think he had an M1A1, but he's been dealing with so much in terms of like cruise missiles, and then these Su-57s with the cluster crews coming in. Oh, and that PAC-2 just whiffs. That feels bad. I think that's why he shifted to the CEVs, something with a little bit of punch, even though it's a little bit more of a glass cannon. And look, you're seeing 3 different colors worth of enemies pushing here on Alpha. To me, so the light green player out on the left flank, he's playing that soft striker build. I think he needs to really swing into the middle here to take some pressure off of his teammates. Yeah, you see all these tours in the back, and they're not running their radar, but I think, against helicopters, they don't necessarily even need to. And, at least the Marine helicopters have a little bit of armor. I know the soft helos, I think basically get one shot by anything with any tour. Yeah, so I think it's actually 2 players it's 2 different shades of green. It's kind of hard to tell on the stream hybrid, but it looks like he's set up very defensively on the left. Nikita, he's running those recon units because what I think is really they're kind of like recce infantry hybrids of force recons, right? They're smaller squads but do good damage, but I agree with you. I think he needs to go back to this small Marine build that he was running previously. It looks like, though, what he's doing... Oh, no. Yep. The enemy has good visibility here, and he needs to be careful. That Abrams needs to not roll up there by itself. Kodo Comanches are situational weapons. 100%. Can you please say, Hybrid, hold your flank better? All right. Hybrid, hold your flank better. Motivation. Go for it. Look at that. Tube artillery coming in on the M1A1. I think Vera he just needs to reset here and not... I think he's feeling the urgency, but he's got 10 minutes left in this phase. I would love to see... Oh, nice HIMARS barrages. Look at this. 3 colors of Su-57s. Yeah, the US did a good job closing out phase 1. I think they need to reset, and then they need to smoke the crap out of Alpha and make a big push. In this game, and you see the smoke coming here on the edge, if you're not... Oh my gosh. Yep, the Kurganets in the wood line. So here's my other unpopular opinion. They can keep pushing on Alpha, but there are 3 Russian players working Alpha. I think if they leave Vera by himself and they focus instead on Bravo and Charlie, the US team might have a little bit more success. I don't know any West Germans named Richard. But I get the joke there. Is it Das dicke Ende kommt nach? Oh wow, the Smalls just toasted that B-17. That was nice. All right, here's the infantry push. They're in front of the artillery. Yep, FEP's moving up to support. I like this. I like this from Vera. Yeah, incompetence. That is correct. I like that take. The Sturmovik key. Thank you, Hybrid. Sturmovik key getting pinned down. The Chorny Beretti also taking some hits. There we go. The Smalls. You love to see the explosives immediately pinning those infantry. Chorny Beretti go down. And now the US infantry can move forward. What I'm worried about for Vera now. Oh, we see a Catfay potentially coming in. That's smart. You'll see the cruise missiles bloom in the distance as these US infantry shove their way through. All right, here are some Su-57 cluster crews, but it looks like they're oriented the other way. There's the Terminator. Yep. So the Abrams is moving. Catfay's still aiming. Oh, and the Tor, it's right there. But the bigger threat to your infantry is that, oh, there you go. One more shot to kill the Terminator. It's smoked out. Oh, another Terminator in close. At least it's too close for the missile. Oh, and now more Russian infantry. The coastals pop out. That M1 is in trouble. It smokes and backs away. We're going to see more tube artillery coming in. Vera definitely in need of supplies here. CEVs are healed up and on their way up. BM3F knocked out, but that's a lot of infantry. And then another TOS barrage coming in. TOS actually killed by counter battery. Nice. Now cluster cruise is coming in. Oh, big hits. One CEV and the Abrams goes down. That hurts. They need some SHORAD close to the front. Yeah, that was a nice push, but he paid for it in blood. More cruise missiles coming in. We see a CJ and a Viper coming in. Let me see if I can figure out what his loadout is. Obviously, CJ doing a seed run here. No surprise to anyone. But the Viper's rolling with some JDAMs. I wonder how he's going to use this. It looks like dropping. Oh, big hits. Well done. Well microed run from the Viper with those JDAMs. Now SU-35 coming in. And it looks like the strikers get counter barrage. That's huge. Yeah, Nikita, I have not tried the Bereg as an assault gun either. And look at that nice push from Vera. He's going to be able to take control of Alpha here. And the US, with 5 minutes left to go in phase 2, in a good position from territory. The problem is he's got a bunch of damaged units. They really need to supply up here. I like him using the MTVR to kind of shuttle these units around to speed this up. The man fires from the supplies. Sometimes you just need the responsiveness. It's a risk that some people are willing to take. Oh, that was an intense couple minutes. That was good. That was very well played from Vera. And you see, it's like almost like he's like taking a deep breath here, trying to figure out what's next. I think he needs to focus on getting. Yep, he's got more supply coming to the front. He needs to dig in his infantry. You know, you really got to. What you want to do is have them occupying like every piece of cover, make the opponent work for it. But what I would also like to see is these the Raiders and the Recon guys on Alpha right now spread out just a little bit. The risk of them getting hit with like one cruise missile is just a little too high for my preference right now. And it looks like the US side making decent progress on the left flank. Here we go. Yep, Russian push coming in, big coastal guard push, as well as some ballistic missiles from the back line, literally shooting them from spawn. You know they're just going to be refunded. The PAC-2 does not have its radar on, so those ballistic missiles, oh, they do hit off on the right side of the view here. Airborne Marine Corps, it has the potential to be good. I think you're still, what you're really missing from that combo, Andish, is artillery. A big Sheridan in this bag. So this is a big push from the Russians here going into the end of phase 2. The Brute, I mean, it's okay. Like, it's good for what it is, but you know, I'd rather have the Iron Thunder. Yeah, the laser guided rounds are always good if you can do it. More Tu-22 cruisers coming in. US forces making their push onto Bravo. That looks like an armor soft build there. Delta Force in the building. They're not going to fare well against the BTR. They got some AMPVs in support. Yeah, Armor Airborne is a nicely balanced combination. The only thing you're really lacking is like elite infantry, but the Airborne are decent and well balanced. All right, so there we go. We found another Terminator. But taking some hits, and actually the player here on Bravo, the armor soft player, doing a good job countering some of that guard coastal vehicles in the wood line. Here we go. We got some Carl Gustavs and some AT4s coming in on those BM3s. But you know there are more Pehi and Chorny Beretti in those vehicles. This is about to be rough. Americans losing a little bit of their capping advantage. More ballistic missiles on the way in. Oh, Patriot PAC-2 just goes into the dirt. That's unfortunate. Oh, now the HIMARS. It looks like we're going to see a line barrage across Point Alpha as the Marine soft team that did so well on Alpha is about to get knocked out. At the guard coastal combination just so strong. The armor on those even on the T-72s is really high. All right, let's see what we do. Oh, there we go. We got a towed tour on the back. Now we see a CJ coming in. 2 minutes left in the phase. US has lost their cap advantage and actually is flipping to the Russians now. Oh, good hits from the HIMARS. T-72 is hurt. Something dies in the back there. Oh, man, those Terminators just doing work. CJ is at high altitude. It looks like it's going to get away, though. PACFA coming in. Some interesting trades here in the middle. Lots of artillery coming in. Yeah, the biggest... These Terminators, they just do... Oh, there we go. More Sky finally get annihilated. The Terminators there with the grenade launchers are so good at panicking the infantry. And I'm worried about this infantry blob that we've got here in the middle. You see 1 million rockets going out. Oh my god, the armor on those just eating all of those handheld rockets. One finally goes down. Yeah, everything needs to heal up here. I like this one very. He's backing out. This is a Marine Striker deck, Alex. Yeah, it's not going to be a cruise missile, Nikita. It's going to be a toss barrage. That hurts, but it looks like the Terminator is knocked out at least. All right, for those of you asking for a helicopter, here's the Viper. Oh, the T-80. Viper looks like he's going to take a couple... Actually, shooting at the BTR with the Hellfire. Helping out his teammate on Bravo. 20 seconds. Not... There's a Russian unit somewhere on Bravo, so unable to get the shot. Oh, Comanche just smoked. And that Tor doing work. Oh, Viper barely dodges another missile. So Americans will hold Alpha, but they're going to lose 6 points... Excuse me, 4 points to KD. Oh, there the Viper goes down. We got 2 different Vipers in the deck here. Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of units in this game that counter helicopters really, really well with stuff like small arms. Yeah, the American player there overall on the flank, I feel like he just needs to he needs to stop pushing for Kilo and just crash into Echo and take some pressure off of his teammates. I realize I'm, backseat driving here, but backseat gaming. Another CJ coming in. Gets a couple of good hits. I think that was a Tor off on the flank. Su-57 counter Cass. More cluster cruises. Oh, Vera, you need to get that resupply up and running. I like this, the HIMARS line barrages, but because it's the HIMARS, it's the explosive round. So against some of the armored vehicles, you're less likely to get the hits that you want. Oh man, the scatter on that, just so unfortunate. He's able to get the infantry away, but the supply gets hit. Yeah, the Ranger, the Mark 47 is the grenade launcher you're talking about. Oh my gosh, what? Oh my god, why is this doing this to me right now? To continue my stream, they need to verify it's me. Oh my gosh. I will do that later. Anyone watching on YouTube, you guys can still see the stream, correct? Yeah, the combination of Su-57s and Tu-22s that we've seen has been borderline oppressive, but the Americans have weathered it okay. All right, thanks everyone. YouTube's giving me a weird error. I'll deal with it after this game so we don't accidentally drop the stream, but as long as you guys can see. All right, more cargo coming in. I love this this combination. And for those of you out there looking at running Marine decks, MTVR with some supplies, a small squad and a Marine squad in it, that's a fantastic combination there. Thank you, Delta. Appreciate you. All right, here we go. We got the Striker soft push. He's doing exactly what I was hoping for. He's crashing into Echo. Americans now up 2 objective points. on cap. They need to hold this and they need to start farming some KD. And I say that as a toss barrage comes in and just makes that a slightly more difficult ask. Oof. Yeah, this is the problem with the Striker SPHs is the tube arty rounds just don't do that much damage. Oh no, cruise missile kills a Thunderbolt out on the flank. Yeah, the audio is enabled. He just might not be pushing the in-game audio, Elijah. So that's why I've got the music going in the background. Wait, hold on. All right. No, I'm still not getting any audio from it, unfortunately. Man, these toss barrages have just been absolutely brutal. And to his credit, that Guard Coastal player there has done a great job keeping them topped up. They've been barraging quite a bit. And you see some tube already in the back. That's the biggest thing. I feel like the Americans have lacked reconnaissance in the middle, and that's hurt them a little bit. Yeah, Alex, we had game audio for the first game, but a lot of it comes down to whether or not the player is pushing the audio on their end. All right. Nice. Catfay barrage going out. Love to see it. Oh, so still a little bit of a double in the middle. Morpehi running into small and American Marines, and they're immediately shocked and panicked. That's the advantage of those small squads. We see another Abrams coming in. I think that's smart. You need something to hold against some of these more advanced Russian vehicles. And more Su-57 airstrikes coming in, but that player on the flank doing a great job of crashing into the enemy there, taking some control. Oh man, another toss barrage. And another Comanche. Gotta be careful. It looks like it's about to go down to the Tor in the back line. Well, the Americans now up 3 objective points. And here's the tricky part, right? You're probably not going to be able to hold that for the last 10 minutes of the game, but now at least you can force the Russians to spend some destruction score attacking. Oh, Viper does get a 2,000 pounder away, doesn't kill anything. Viper knocked out by an S-300. Now you see the green player also sliding into Alpha to try to help. Very hectic, but look at this. 3 Russian players converging onto Alpha, and Vera just doing his best to hold. More HIMARS barrages coming in. Yeah, Nikita, I think he does have 2 tosses. That's the only way we'd see them shooting that rapidly. Cruise missiles and seed coming in for the Americans. Now we see, is that Russian smoke coming in? That's what it looks like. So Russians could be prepping for another push onto Alpha. Big HIMARS preparatory barrage. Yeah, it's one of those things where like you almost want to just try to get your infantry onto the far bank here. Yeah, Hunter, it's been a good push, and I think a lot of it has come down to the US players on the flanks taking quite a bit of map control and punishing these doubles in the middle. And we see more engineers coming in. Yeah, I worry about this tank being out there on its own. And Vera is correct. He needs to get these units back for some heal. That's been a constant fight for him as he works through, and he's got an MTVR coming back up. Oh no, there's more Pehi. Man, they just chew through the armor on the Abrams. Kind of wild. Now it is an M1A1. Yes, Alex, for sure. The Russian artillery has made frontline supply really challenging. And because he's very reliant on these MTVRs for supply, it's been a little rough. It takes a minute to get supply up to the front. More Pehi coming in. F-35 makes a strike. Oh, gets knocked out. KD still in favor of the Russians. The Americans maybe need to think about going into the final phase here, less about pushing and more about just imposing costs on the Russian team. They're about to lose Alpha, which I think they need, unless they get some destruction score, they need to hold. Mushy putty. Yeah, they do. The Morpehi are very strong. More toss barrages. It looks like it's mostly going to get dodged. Nice, a little bit of luck there on the scatter. More Su-57s coming in. Wow, crazy it's going to get away. What is that? Where did that PAC-2 missile go? Just like off to the side, hitting the ground. A little wild. And it's already back for resupply. Only 4 missiles in the magazine. That's rough. You see, all right, Russians converging on Alpha. It's worth noting the Americans still have credit for three cap points even without Alpha. Yeah, Nikita, they must have, but man, that happened quick. Man, you can see there's a tour in the back there, or a pantsier. So the Russians, they're gonna make progress on Alpha, and they're actually up on KD, but they're down on capture points. The KD is going to be enough to secure the win for Team Tu-22. So the Americans, they've got to actually focus on trading efficiently in the last 5 minutes here. They can't be throwing units away. And actually, yeah, that striker is almost certainly done. Yeah, phase 3, especially with the cap advantage, you can't get any more points. You're not going to sudden death your opponent at this point. You've got to trade effectively. Yeah. Yeah, they need to just start knocking out Russian units. To my everlasting shame, I don't actually know what the deal is if there's a tie at the end. Oh my god, that striker just needs to shoot. Okay, it does. Tornado Beretti cleaned out on Alpha. The thermobarics of those engineers not going to do anything to that BMO. Oh, look at the big rocket barrage coming in. How are those more pet? He's still alive. Abrams on the flank, sees that BMOT. Wow, it's still a 3 hit? That doesn't feel right. Oh man, somewhere the US side is not trading effectively. I want to be like, Vera, you don't need Alpha. You don't. You just need to kill the enemy. 4 minutes left. Oh man, that toss barrage, that's not going to help things. Viper coming in, he looks like he's trying to get a bombing run off. There's the S-300, sees the F-16. The Viper will get both JDAMs off. No kills. Oh, that hurts. The Russians lose their KD advantage. Some hits coming in. US, they need to make up like 2,000 destruction score in the next 3 minutes. At this point, I would give up Alpha completely and try to focus on something that will help my teammates get some. Oh wow, Americans just got huge destruction score boost. 3 minutes left. Yeah, 200 now, 500 in gap. It's so tough. You know, he doesn't have a ton of air in his deck. Oh, there we go. The Catfay doing some work. This is where you need your soft players with the F-35s to come in and just start smashing enemy backline units. But the Americans have wanted for Recce for most of this game. Oh, maybe they can kill the Terminator here. Yeah, that was a fantastic Catfay barrage. Oh my god, I can't believe that Terminator's going to get away. There we go. Knocked out. But yeah, capturing Alpha does nothing for you. Russians still up 500 points on KD. They're losing the gap slowly. All right, big Russians making a big push onto Bravo here, and that makes a lot of sense. If they can just secure one more point here going into, yeah, even just uncapping it. Now the Americans need Alpha back. Americans somehow quickly ahead on KD? What was that? This is tight. This is going to go down the last 2 minutes. Cruise missiles coming in. Oh, big hits. M1 knocked out. Remember, it's 1,000. You need a 1,000-point lead in destruction score to get the point for it. Now the Americans have to get the tie at a minimum. They need to take back either Alpha or Charlie, and they need to hold Bravo. And Yellow is making a big push there. Those BMOTs, they will bleed. RRC and AMPV there. Big rocket strikes. Here we go. US very close to a KD point lead. 1 minute left. Oh, those cruise missiles come in. And now KD has evened out. Oh my gosh. There's the toss. CJ coming in looking for some seed. 1 minute left. Yeah, this is tight. This is close. There we go. The US in a position to win it right now. They got to hold this for a minute. Team Snafu. 45 seconds. KD dead even. Big Russian push onto Bravo. Vera needs to throw everything he's got onto Alpha right now. At least his teammates have taken Charlie. Oh, there's a push on Echo as well. The US have to hold Bravo. 30 seconds left. Yeah, there's so much stuff on Bravo. And that's the problem. You're down to 20 seconds. What can you possibly put on Alpha? There's the toss barrage. That's nuts. A couple of unlucky hits. No, but it looks like the US will hold Bravo. 10 seconds. US ahead on KD. Look at that. They have managed to hold on Bravo and Charlie. GG, well played. Snafu takes it 9-6 in phase 3. Wow. That was nuts. That was, so we had like a super high energy, you know, in phase 2, and then it lulled out a little bit in phase 3. The last 10 minutes there was absolutely insane. Only one NGSW squad on Charlie. Yeah. Yeah, very close. Vera, look at that. I hope he goes back to the overall score. Vera had almost a 1.2 KD being doubled or tripled for the entire game. Yeah, Randy, I agree. Fantastic game. I don't know this Vera guy, but I'm gonna add him to my friends list. Anyone that you, yeah, 1.16 KD, just holding Alpha, no big deal. Really well played. And then look, so the Russian spec here, so 2 guard coastal, 2 guard VDV, and then coastal VDV. If you want to know what the meta is for Russian specs right now, there you go. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Pretty impressed with the US side. Look, the KD is just atrocious across the board for the Americans. But they managed to win it on capture in phase 3. Not something you see all that often at the competitive level. Randy treadmilling. Very nice. Very nice. Wow. All right. That was a game. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to close out this stream here. We're going to go on a short break while we figure out who is up next. And then we're going to do this again because we got matches all day. Stick with us, folks. We'll be back soon.
ready to roll. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast.
All right, we are back.
Heavy cap ready to rumble.
We are jumping right into the end of phase 1 of Spartan Systems versus F-Star.
Team standing by.
We're back on Meandering River because this is still a round 2 game. So thank you for everyone who's been joining us here. Looks like we're going to see a slightly different lane this time around. So actually, let me turn this down just a skosh. He's got his stream audio up really high, which is nice. So we are observing, I think it is Plovic from F-Star, and he's up against Great again, who actually is the player from the first match that we saw, who played the guards motorized extremely well against Mule. So it looks like a player has disconnected, Wolf 3K. We will see kind of how this sorts out. Hopefully we don't have to go through a big like referee decision on this game. But looks like the Russian squad in a pretty decent advantage for the end of phase 1 here. Up on Cap and up on KD. Again, like no reason to panic over phase 1. It's all about key terrain, getting into these competitive games. And so it looks like a Striker Marine deck here from Plovic. Pretty meta maneuver build. Pretty common. It's a well balanced build. Ooh, those cluster rockets. That is a dead Kurganets. Oh man, but the Russians though, going into the end of phase 1, going to get 4 points. That's, you know, I say don't worry about phase 1, but that's not insignificant. Iskander cruise missiles coming in from deep. KD obviously gets reset with end of phase 2. So yeah, the Russians going to lead going into phase 2 with a 4-0 score. Not bad. Not a bad spot for advantage. Interesting. So on the flank here, it looks like Armor Airborne over in the dark green color on the left as they try to push in towards Kilo. A little bit hard to tell. Some players have, you know, all the enemy Tu-22 cruise missiles coming in, supply identified hit. You know, you probably only need 1 cruise missile on an enemy supply point. It's going to go up anyway, no matter what. Oh, Chrysanthema. That was the bane of Mule's existence in the previous game. Oh, Chrysanthema gets knocked out by a tow team in a building. Nice pickup. More Tu-22 crews coming in. So KD's staying relatively even for the start of phase 2. The US player, that looks like a soft marine in the middle pushing onto Alpha. Multiple Su-35s overhead. Now a Tu-160 coming in. F-35s doing seed and bombing runs over the middle. I wonder if we're going to see... No, those just look like cruise missiles from the Tu-22. Oh man. Huge hits. That's big. Man. Some of the, like, the cruise missile, part of the advantage of the Tu-22 cruise missiles is because they're so fast, you can use them a little bit more responsively. Come in and get some good hits on units that, you know, might even try to dodge. Oh man. The Armor Airborne player here on the flank dealing with a lot of some, like a nice counter recce battle over by Juliet. And that's more, looks like Guards Moto. This is Striker ATGM fighting a Concourse team in a building. APS saves it initially. Oh, Sniper's helping out. That's probably one of the biggest things. Tilting that engagement. One more bunker buster missile comes in. But the Concourse M actually gets out of the building, so no kill. Oh, we found some Diversanti in the wood lines there. Striker ESV supported with the small assault men. That can do okay against the Terminator in the right situation. Marines off on Alpha running into some guards, Russian infantry. That's going to slow them down quite a bit. Nice place here with the tow teams in the woodline. Actually, I'm impressed with Plovik's ability to manage kind of 2 lanes at the same time here. Yeah, the inability of the US team right now to kind of manage some of these cruise missiles coming in. They need some more SHORADs forward. There we go. Nice F-35 strike onto the Terminator. Oh, and the Seed rocket comes in and gets a hill. That's a nice trade for the US player. And the Armor Airborne on the flank on Juliet is going to take Juliet back. Yeah, this Russian team does a really, really good job. The Spartan systems, they do a very good job of playing with reconnaissance and keeping good eyes on. Yeah, the combination of like Cessnas or Pantsers and then Tors and then S-300s is really hard to break through. You can get individual kills, like you can get an F-35 in to hit something, but over time you're going to end up having to trade inefficiently with your units. Oh, those chrysanthemas. The bunker buster thermobaric conditions they get for anti-infantry are very strong. There we go. That Pack 2 whiffs at the last second on the Su-35. Yeah, and that is a decent push onto Charlie, but Russians going to maintain control of that point. Now, a couple of Abrams tanks coming in. Gotta just be cautious of the Russian infantry and their ability to counter those. Su-35 lobbing some missiles. Pack 2 gonna take another shot and whiff again. God, it feels so frustrating. Oh wow, the missiles doing a ton of damage to those Abrams quickly. And you would think you'd be inside the missile's arming range, but not quite. The ripple fire. Oh, the Fett barely survives the second shot from the Chrysanthema. So we see he's using the Striker self-propelled howitzers here to try to get hits. Wow, one guy on the team already considering throwing down a surrender vote. You don't see that too often at this level. Looks like the US team is going to fight on though. I like this. Nice use of the smoke, trying to save those Abrams. One goes down anyway. Wow, and the vehicles there from great smoke out of the way. Oh, that Comanche's not long for this world with that OSA back there.
Need a rifle. Personal carrier ready. Roger.
Yeah, you see Plovik shifting onto Charlie, trying to help his teammate towards Alpha. I think part of the problem is it looks like the way his player colors are set up, all the enemy's units are red. And that can make it really difficult to read the enemy. So I like having different enough colors that I can tell how many players I'm facing. Oh man, this Su-35s, like, they take a hit and then it's not enough to kill them from the Pack 3. They're gonna get a couple missiles off and then get away. The KD advantage now for the Russians is absolutely huge. And like a 4,000 point differential. US players struggling to trade effectively. HIMARS coming in, but it looks like Great is just going to dodge just a little bit of timing there. Three Striker howitzers feels like a lot to me. Especially because they don't get the laser guided rounds. That might be a way to kind of make them just a little bit more useful, is to give them access to precision guided munitions. Because you've got the sniper team there lasing that Chrysanthema, but that laze doesn't do anything with these weapon systems.
M1 Abrams, warmed up and ready to
Artillery available, sir.
Oh,
Direct fire engagement.
it looked like J-Sows from that Viper,
Direct fire.
driving to
and
coordinates.
is barely going to dodge that follow-up missile.
We're on the move.
All right, so the Marine soft player is taken Alpha, but he's now being pinched on either side. Look at all these Russian IFVs, the Chrysanthemums. It's a lot of firepower, and you don't necessarily want to be bottled up like that.
Mobile artillery reporting in. Personal carrier here. Mobile artillery standing by. Ready to rain down death. Artillery.
You know, incompetence, I have no idea if it actually exists, but as a game mechanic, I think it would make sense, especially when you have a shell that's such a small blast radius. And Nikita, yeah, some players, they feel like it's distracting to see all the different colors. I obviously don't feel that way.
Good copy. Next
Oh man, the Chrysanthema just one-shots the scout sniper team.
higher they fly.
That's rough. That's so unforgiving.
Ready to roll.
Yeah, but these howitzers, right, they're trying to hit vehicles out in the open. Without laser guided rounds, you're not going to be able to accomplish anything along those lines. Look at this, just Chrysanthemas driving across the map.
Driving to coordinates. Already there.
You just see these missiles going out.
M1 Abrams,
It
ready
looks like a
for
strafing one coming in on the far right side.
to roll.
Proceeding to the next base of fire.
We'll see if it's Mavericks. It may be able to target a couple of these vehicles.
Artillery moving out. Back up, back up.
Nice smoke. The ACV is going to occupy the smoke and probably drop those Marines. You got to get in tight to the Chrysanthema to keep it from being able to shoot at you.
Popping smoke.
Oh, that F-16 with the Mavericks did not accomplish what you would have hoped on the US side. And yeah, look at all those Russian vehicles. The Russian team, they're playing smart. They see the smoke and they know what's happening, so you see them back up to keep their weapons at the right range.
There in 10 seconds. Not 10 fucking. Armored transport. Ready.
Yeah, incompetence, there are enough imaginary units in this game. Adding laser guided rounds to it, imaginary striker howitzer wouldn't be the worst anachronism ever.
Someone call for a cab. Armored is rolling.
Besides, I like the laser guided munitions. I think it rewards like team play and micro, so I'd rather see more of that in this game. Some good hits with the cluster munitions, getting some kills, getting some vehicle crits and doing some damage. Now, oh, that Spetsnaz squad is gonna eat up that ESB. Yeah, now a toss barrage coming in. Multiple Spetsnaz squads on Charlie. You really need like a couple of 2,000 pounders to come in and clear that out. The strikers, the howitzer's not going to do it for you.
Going home.
Smoke out. Hoorah!
Hit the gas, driver. Hit it.
And then yeah, oh man, the ACVs are just so squishy.
Requesting orders. Marines in combat. Requesting orders.
And you can tell it's like Plovic's irritated dealing with these Chrysanthemas, like really trying. Yeah, he wants those smalls to get in and close, and they knock out one, but they need to smoke and sprint away. Oh, they're out of smoke.
Heavy cab is on the field.
Sure, the Lav AD using its minigun to target the Spetsnaz there. Oh, that's a cruise missile coming in on the tow team, does a lot of damage.
Heavy armor here. We're engaged.
And now another toss barrage. Oh no, those smalls are,
Rocket artillery at your order, sir.
and the Marines are definitely in a rough spot. Yeah, both small squads destroyed.
Artillery ready to fire, sir.
There to
Oh man, this KD. It's a good thing for the American side that they can only lose 3 objective points for KD. This is rough.
pedal to the metal.
Quickly now.
Yeah, and you would think the Marines would win an engagement at range, but because they're panicked, and now Koalitzia artillery coming in, plus the Kurgan's Marines are done. Yeah, the striker howitzers, they just don't hit the same. And even with the snipers lasing or those cluster rockets, not enough time for them to divert their route.
I love big guns.
This game, this is rough.
Air defense ready for action.
you're just seeing the American side struggle to find answers to some of these, like the Russian light armor pushes. Barbarous in the middle, going up with an Abrams. I can't see what the infantry squad is there. Oh, it's a Marine squad. Wow, that the Marine squad is hurting. Abrams still at full health. But that Barbarous is still alive. Now, toss barrage coming in. Some Marines are dead. The oh my gosh. The toss doing so much damage to the Abrams. Now the Abrams getting beat up. It goes down to the Barbarous and the SSO. Green Berets have no answer to the Barbarous.
Direct fire engagement. All ass. M1 Abrams warmed up and ready to go. Hunting radar.
Yeah, the Marine striker deck, the striker howitzers is the best tube artillery they have. They have some mortars, but those are even less effective.
Heavy cavalry ready for action.
You know, I think
Artillery
you can make an argument for,
99. Mission
oh my god, 45 seconds left in phase 2. This game might be unwinnable after phase 2. Yeah, the mortars get the laser guided piece of it, but I would like to see the 120 mortars do more damage than the 155s, because actually, you know, in real life, the kill radius is that large on the 120s. That would be cool given their short range. I think that'd be a nice balance mix. You can see these players, like, even though the game is kind of tilting away from them, they're still making good plays and imposing costs on the enemy. I think it just looks like the one American flank on the right has been completely rolled up. They've been kind of pushed to the backside of the river, and that's just making life a lot more difficult for these units as they're, oh my gosh, Ranger Maw squads running away from a BTR. That doesn't look right. Oh, it's because of the Morpehi there. Did I see, is there someone on the Russian side with a 6 KD right now?
M1 Abrams warmed up and ready to go. Solid copy. Moving out. Rocket artillery ready, sir. Rocket artillery at your command, sir.
Yeah, I think some of the bombs also need an ignore cover stat, because there are some weird engagements where, like, an infantry squad in a building will eat a 2,000-pound bomb and be okay. That doesn't feel right either. And the chrysanthemas just, they hit so hard, even against infantry. Hey, what's up, Benji?
Heavy cannons on the field.
Yeah.
No party
He is just cleaning up.
providing direct fire. Roger, moving to next waypoint.
6.95. Holy cow.
Combat ready. Moving as ordered. Bring us there in 10
Now look at this. I love this from Great, right? It's not like Barbarous, T-14. No, it's B-17s and chrysanthemas, right? Microing them individually using good cover that he's using to just, they're like, the chrysanthemas themselves are pretty decent glass cannon units, and so they are just hitting hard as all of these American units try to push. F-35 comes in, gets a bomb away, but look, good micro on the AA to dodge the incoming JDAM, and the F-35 goes down to a ton of missiles from an Su-35 and a MiG-29, and the Americans just really, like, unable to trade back. Maybe they get that MiG-29? I didn't see if it actually died. Mi-28, so there's a Booker on Charlie trying to take it, but...
Copy. Relocating. Moving out.
This is rough. So, 16, there are 18 points available to you in phase 3, right? So, you need all 3 capture points and all 3 KD points. I mean, the Russian team would basically have to be asleep at the wheel at this point for the Americans to win this game. And I mean, like, literally asleep. They'd all have to disconnect. Or a sudden death. But that Booker is almost certainly done. Yep. Yeah, workout.
MLRS reporting in.
SU-24 comes in.
Sandbags. Jump out. Initiated. Heavy cap. Ready to rumble.
The Terminator just eating 2 Abrams shots. You got more like cluster rocket artillery coming in. The Striker howitzers getting counter barraged. Oh, 2 of them immediately get knocked out. Annihilated if you translate the Russian. And there goes the M1A1.
Radar activated.
This, oh, the Morse guy in the woods. Yeah, that's rough. God, the American units as a whole just feel so fragile in this game with all the artillery that's coming in.
Ready to roll. Driver, move out.
This has been
Moving out.
you know, this has been a rough game for the American side. They've closed the KD gap, at least in this phase, a little bit. And I'm trying to think about, oh, Seed coming in, an SU-35. I'm trying to think about like what you take away from this as the Americans. I think the biggest thing you have to avoid is the urge to push constantly.
Sniper team standing by.
Yeah, incompetence, that's fair. I don't know that this game at this point is truly winnable. But, I think you constantly kind of see, like, one tank here, an infantry squad here. It feels a little bit like they used to be piecemeal. Oh, now the Barbarous comes in with a push. That's from NBK. And the Barbarous trades really well with these M1s. The M1A1 from the Marine group. Nice use of smoke. Oh, there it goes. It takes a hit, but F-35 gets the kill with a nice bomb strike. A little bit of team coordination there. F-16 also came in, making a strafing run.
Radar turned on. Looking for contacts. Lab here. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's rough about this is, like, let's say they win Charlie and Echo here, they can start pushing on Alpha. Bravo Charlie, or Bravo Delta Golf, that entire side of the river seems denied to the Americans. Oh my god, the toss barrage onto Alpha. ACV smoked, all that infantry panicked.
Roger. We're on the move. Moving out.
Yeah, and Nikita, to your point, I mean, this is the qualification round.
Fast landing assistance.
So you'd expect to see some games be a little bit one-sided, but like Monkey 5 is objectively a good team. They lost their first game in pretty convincing fashion. And so I think some of it's like, even with the comeback mechanic, at this level, players are so good that if you lose an early engagement, you can basically reel from that for the entire rest of the game. It's very rare to see like true territory comebacks. Oh my gosh, another toss barrage. Any progress the US made on a Charlie just got wiped out. A double toss barrage on a Charlie. Now the K-52s. Yeah, Benji, I agree with you. That river with the sight lines makes life really difficult. And you just see, like, the micro from the Russian side is very good. Oh, that F-35, it gets a kill and gets smoked anyway. The K-52s in and then back away.
Artillery standing by. Don't stay here. Drive. Armored transport.
Teed Lame, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce your name. I would generally agree with you. I would think that all the forests and the long sight lines would favor the US and kind of their infantry and their team weapons. This Russian team, Spartan Systems, they are very good. Thank you, Broiler. Here we go. The old flip the panel around. Oh my god, that F-16 just annihilated. The air defense network is too strong. There's a lot of artillery on the field for the Russians, and this one getting out of hand quick here. Wow, the Small doing minimal damage to the Terminator. Tubardi NSA is like your howitzers. Yeah, anything a howitzer. So Striker SPHs, Paladins, Iron Thunders, etc. What's nice about tube artillery is normally carries a lot of ammo. and can't be intercepted like ballistic missiles or cruise missiles. And it has a much faster aim time. Oh, supply depot goes up. Nice. Tube already has a much faster aim time than your rocket artillery as well. That Terminator, will the Booker finish it off? It will. Always feels good to knock out a BMPT. Alright, so we see some JASMs coming in. Another toss barrage. And the Tor dealing with most... Yeah, the Russian air defense network just mitigating those JASMs. NSA, thank you. Feels weird to say on a stream. And so, yeah, the Marine soft player here, he hasn't been able to capture Alpha, but he's pushed through to the far side. It's noted. So clean up some of the Russian infantry. Wow, that Tor just doesn't care about the seed coming in. All these American units just getting crushed on the way in. We got more cluster rockets. Not going to get a hit on that chrysanthemum, it looks like. And now another Barbarous in the middle.
That's a verb. Anti-aircraft standing by.
Yeah, the MML incompetence, the MML is a really cool unit. I would like to see, or if not, at least moved a little bit so you can provide some like some more of that SHORAD capability, some of the other specs.
Providing direct fire. Good copy. Next waypoint received.
Now drones coming in. The Russians definitely have the recce advantage, and they certainly have the anti-air advantage.
Copy. Returning fire only. Abrams here.
And look, the the player here in the center, trying to figure out where the Russian unit on Alpha is. Yeah, Benji, I would love to see like the MML with the Hellfire be able to fire without clear line of sight if you laze. That would make it a really cool like backline Hellfire ability. Yeah, airborne soft. I don't know. It's hard to figure out what you would need to do. It seems it's a very niche deck anyway. So I don't know how I would necessarily change it. Hey, thank you, Several. These Americans trying to grab Alpha going into the last couple of minutes at BMOT. All these Russian units built on T-72. Wow, Barbarous just eats a 1,000-pounder from the F-35 and is still rolling. Yeah, armor air is good. I feel like, you know, armor soft. Some of the soft infantry, they're just so specialized they can struggle against, especially like Guard Coastal or Met Coastal. I'm just trying to see, what is he pinging here? Oh wow, the US player on the far left flank has succeeded in a little bit of a roll up. We got Kiowas coming in to deal with that Mi-24 on the back line. Oh, Katie, just crazy Russian advantage right now. Apache's gonna get the kill on that recce helicopter. Oh my gosh, the Tor. Comanche just barely dodges the shot from the Tor.
AH-1 reporting in.
Yeah, the problem with the Marine soft deck, the helicopters, all of them are basically one-shots. So your big anti-armor weapons are glass cannons that get hard countered by the presence of like a single Tor on the field.
Moving out. New heading set. Flight plan update.
And all these Russian IFVs have so much armor, like the BMOT.
Heading there.
You know, 3 Carl Gustavs to kill it. If you get hits, it can be rough.
AH-1 standing by.
And look at these Su-57s just flying overhead with impunity. That's wild.
Viper. Flying there.
Orion's overhead. Yeah, the US air defense network has just been abused this game, and you can feel it. 2 minutes left. Oh man, the big cruise missiles coming in. All those supply points have been identified and hit with cruise missiles.
Armored transport
I don't know. Oof. You know, what, 36 is probably that's the most number of points you can get in a single game. We're about to see 34 here.
Relocating. Mission is over. We return to base. Heading there.
Yeah, 34 to nil would be, that's a lot.
Rocket artillery at your order.
And yeah, these Su-57s just, you see these cluster crews smoking in.
Viper here.
Oh, the Morse guy on the back line.
Target.
And the Comanche gets, okay, that's something that probably needs to be adjusted.
Combat ready.
Comanche getting gunned down by mainline infantry in the woods. Okay.
We're on the move.
Just too squishy.
MLRS ready. Send fire mission. Engaging targets with direct fire.
Yeah, Alex.
Send traffic. Over.
Yeah, Benji. I mean,
Direct fire.
yeah, it was just a one shot.
Flight plan updated.
The helicopter micro is tough because I feel like the helicopters constantly do things that you're like, I didn't ask you to fly there. Okay, so we figured out 3 Jasmines is enough to kill a Barbarous.
Rocket artillery at your command, sir. Changing course. Flying the coordinates.
Yeah, Alex, to your point, it does feel like the Russian
At your command.
specs are all slightly more well-rounded in terms of their, especially their air defense capabilities.
Ready for action.
Which, and we talked about this in the past. I'm okay with, you know, specializations being the balancing mechanism. But yeah, and it looks like Team F-Star here gonna throw the GG. Gotta appreciate the sportsmanship. 20 seconds left. This was a, you know, end of phase 1. It wasn't a, it was still close, but not right now.
New bearing set. New heading set.
I think somehow this feels worse than a sudden death game, if I'm being honest.
Viper ready.
A 34-0 full 45-minute game. That's tough. It's tough no matter who you are. So Wolf 3K, his KD went down to 4.6. But yeah, motorized VDV, that's a lot of access to some really, really high level air and artillery. Yeah. It's here. All right, so a little bit of a rough game there. Yeah, incompetence, it puts the total in total defeat. Yep, that was a that was rough. And it shows kind of, you know, the biggest thing I'd say is it shows how if you lose kind of the terrain advantage early, it can snowball on you. I don't think it's necessarily about score, but you know, a lot of times being behind on sort of terrain or capture points can lead into being behind on KD because you got to constantly throw units into the grinder to try to make up terrain, and that can just be really, really tough. Keeping units alive doesn't necessarily matter for the snowball, but it does minimize the destruction score for your opponent. Let's see. Okay. All right. So let's see. Difference between 2400 and 2700 team is huge. I'd say to me that felt more like the team coordination on the Russian side was also better. You just saw that get rolled. But okay. All right. So, and because his team has good coordination with, yeah, they're very, very good. All right, gents. So here's what we're gonna do. Thank you for joining. We are going to wrap the stream here, and then so I'm gonna work with the rest of the World Series staff, and so we're gonna figure out what we can do to make the stream better. So if you've got anything, any thoughts, you know, throw them in the comments. Hit me up on Discord. We will be doing more of this in the future. Right, still in the qualification rounds right now. but especially once we get into the like best of 3 rounds, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So thank you all for joining me today. This was a good time. I will probably take a look at this and see what else we can learn from the meta going forward. But yeah, on behalf of the Broken Arrow World Series and everyone that played today, really appreciate you all. If you're coming in now, we had 3 different matches up here, so you can go back in the VOD and find it and rewatch. But thanks. That's going to do it for us here, and we'll catch y'all later.